Some of you have been really successful at using the Biophotonic scanner in its original form to help people, right? And to help them see. And that's something that's really amazing about the scanner. If you guys recall the very first one that was built, this is Scott Ferguson, a lot of you know him, putting together the S1 scanner. Like, it's just amazing what we're doing now with PRYSM. We have taken the shackles off of the Biophotonic scanner with PRYSM. Any of these, problems or roadblocks or barriers to getting a scanner have just been removed at this point, which is really exciting, right? To go through the different years of the scanner, and now we have something that everyone can have access to. It's going to really, like Chase said, this is going to be a new movement, right? Because the problems that the scanner always had was just availability, right? And awareness, and getting it into more people, and getting more engagement. And so we hope to change all that with PRYSM. Why was the scanner, though? Why did it continue to help a lot of you in your business as you used it the right way? And this is a question that a lot of people ask, and why the PRYSM is going to be so revolutionary for a lot of people. Imagine you're in a dark room, it's completely black, and you're trying to convince somebody to find the mirror in the room so they can see themselves. Well, first of all, you can't even find the mirror because it's completely pitch black. And then once they find the mirror, what are they going to see? Well, not much. This is kind of like when me with my kids, when I first brought home G3, I had to try to convince them over and over again that this was something they needed to take. And it was a huge struggle. Like, they would not even touch it because they just didn't like the flavor. They didn't see the benefit. Not too long ago, when I had them come in to work one day to scan on the PRYSM device, they all got their score. When I got home, the G3 was like gone. I couldn't find it. Like, I didn't even talk to them about it. Like, the power was that they couldn't see where they were. They couldn't see themselves, and at what time point they are in their lives and what they need to do to improve it. The PRYSM and the scanner, what the power of that device has always been to help people see. It's like turning on that light switch where immediately they now can find the mirror and in 2 seconds see what problems they need to deal with, with their skin, or, whatever they see in the mirror. And so that's really the power that we're talking about here. And so the app is really intended to help facilitate this journey from helping people see, realize, understand what that means for them, what that score means, and then what can they do about it. We have the solutions, right? Everyone knows Nu Skin has the best solutions for improving one's health as far as supplements go. It can go a lot beyond supplements. Helping people just live a healthier life is also something that they can attain if they just understand. That's why we always say change your life in 15 seconds, because that 15 seconds is the beginning point to help people finally find where they need to improve. So let's go through it now. Let me just get in here. So as we discussed before, some of you have already tried the PRYSM device. This is going to be launched very shortly. We're really excited to get into it. The app is going to be a companion. Like, you can scan without the app, with just the device itself, but we really want the app to kind of help facilitate a lot of the experience here. And then again, this is like taking that data and interpreting it, right? The app's going to really help with that. The device management in there is going to be real simple, where you connect your device to the app. You can manage more than one. I can't remember what the cap is. Maybe 50 devices or so is what the cap is if you're really ambitious and want to go to some large events and scan lots of people. So it's going to be really nice at managing devices, scanning and scoring and getting information. This is, again, very crucial. Getting that product and understanding how that actually helps your score is going to be a crucial part of the app. PRYSM Profiles is something that we're introducing, where people can actually now fill out a profile to help us not only understand their score, but now you're looking at, what am I doing that affects my score, right? A lot of people misinterpret what they're doing. They think I'm doing great. And then they actually answer questions about what they're doing, and they realize, oh, I'm actually not doing so great. So this is just another awareness tool to help us understand, where you are, and also to help us give you better recommendations. There's going to be AI built into this app as well. The AI is going to help kind of assess a lot of this information to help you as leaders understand where they are so that you can give the best recommendation to them as well. Going on, just like in the original version of the scanner, we're going to have an area where you can actually track and keep track of your customers, keep track of your scannees, so you can follow up with them, see how they're trending, if they come back and rescan. So all of those same kind of tools are going to be built in as well. So with that, I just wanted to show you something. This is the thing that I just finished building, and I wanted to kind of bring it into this group to show. But this is kind of a tutorial of the app. Now this is all the screenshots you're going to see in here and the clips are based on an actual app that is working on my phone right now, right next to me. And so I recorded a lot of these screens and then I built them into this presentation. And so this is it right here. As we're just on the cusp of releasing this, I wanted to give you guys a sneak peek of it. When you get your PRYSM device, and as you download the app, you're going to be able to then come in, log in with your Nu Skin login. Sorry, I'm having issues with my slides here. Okay, here we go. You're going to be able to log in with your Nu Skin login, which everyone knows at this point, I'm assuming. There's going to be some introductions here that just kind of talk you like, hey, welcome you to the app, walk you through a few different things here. But we really want you to just jump in and start pairing your device and start scanning. And so the first call to action here is just to pair your device. And once you get your device turned on, it will then just automatically pair you up in a matter of seconds. And then you can name your device. Now, this may or may not be important, but if you're running multiple devices, like a whole slew of devices, we want you to be able to identify which ones are which. And so we let you have the ability to do that. But then once you name it, calibration is another important issue that everyone needs to be aware of as you're using your device. This is where you're going to be able to just make sure it's always scanning correctly and accurately and consistently all the time. And you can calibrate it as often as you need to, and that will all be available in the app as well. Let's jump. Okay, so once you get your device hooked up, the home screen is really all about your PRYSM profile. This is where you see your score. This is where you're going to be able to fill out that PRYSM profile that I talked about earlier. And what this is going to do is help, the AI to be able to give you better recommendations as you fill out some of these questions. And then once you fill them all out, you kind of get this 100%. Yeah, you're doing good notification. And so this PRYSM profile also in its early stages is going to be more basic. We're going to build upon it, obviously, right? We're going to actually add more questions. We're going to make it more powerful for you guys as leaders to be able to go in and review that kind of information for your customers so that you are also empowering them from a leader standpoint to give them the best experience and the best recommendations. Once you're done with that, the next tab over here is called the Scan tab. And this is where you're actually going to manage your devices and also scan. And as you connect to it, as you connect to your device, you just have to turn it on and it just automatically connects in 1 second. It's connected. And if you turn it off, it just lets you know to connect. And from here, you could just try a scan. When you first get in there, scan yourself. Some of you have already done this with the beta, and you get a score within 15 seconds. What's really cool about this score is that a lot of people, when they get that, and this happens at every expo I go to, every event I go to where I'm scanning people, I've probably scanned many of you, but the first time someone scans, their very first scan, the first question that comes out of their mouth is, what the heck does that mean? Like, I don't understand like what that means. And that's the key question right there. Okay, you notice that I didn't have to go up to someone and show them LifePack or G3 and say, hey, take a look at this product. All I had to do was walk over and turn the light on. Okay. And that's a different discussion, right? That's a discussion about a person's wellness, about a person's life, right? What is your score? Understanding what your score is going to open all sorts of questions, right? And this is where it leads naturally to the solutions that we have for them. The results page, If you scroll down, it's going to, immediately give you some information about what your score means, some different factors that can actually influence your score. So right away, we're trying to answer the question, what does my score mean? Okay, so that's the first one. When you get to the recommendation tab, which is right next to the results tab, now we're getting into the AI, right? This is where the AI is now starting to give you some information. And what I love about this section is that while AI is great and it can really augment the experience, it doesn't replace, an affiliate, right? It doesn't replace any of you, which is why we give new intelligence recommendations in here, but we also allow for custom recommendations that you can build on your own. Okay. So you can actually see, oh, this is what the new intelligence recommends, but this is what I recommend for you. Okay, so that's kind of the key to this. But once you get in here, there's going to be lots of different recommendations given, maybe some text about lifestyle changes they can make, but then you get into also history and trends. So we really want to make it easy for you to see, am I doing well? Am I not? Am I following the recommendations? And so this is like if you're scanning yourself and trying to understand that. Now, in the app, I want to cover a few things that are important to the scanning a guest, because this is where you guys are really going to help change people's lives. Scanning yourself is one thing, but when you start sharing this technology with others, that's when the magic happens. So the scan a guest button is what we're going to go next. But before we go in there, I want to show you the settings in here. If you click this little gear icon at the top right of the screen, it's going to take you into a settings where you can actually change the way the scanner and the app talk to each other. Info scan is what we're calling is the ability to go in and actually enter information. So with the current scanner today, it's how it kind of works. We enter the name, email, phone number. We enter some information so that we can now save that scan to a customer, and you can actually help track and prospect with them. So info scan is requiring information up front before they get the scan done, which is important if you want to be able to save that and track it. Open scan lets you just scan people to your heart's content with no information. It's just scan, 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 scan. The beauty of open scan is if after you scan someone and they're like, hey, I want more information about this. I want to get my product recommendation. I want to get my score. You can actually go in and actually assign those unassigned scans that you just took to him or her, and they will get their score. They can get more information. You can, now start to help them along their journey. So the two different modes are just, depending on what situation you're in. Okay, so there's different ways you can do that. There's also the ability to calibrate and do firmware updates in the settings. But now let's jump back here. So let's now run through a guest scan and see how this can work in your business. Hitting a guest scan lets you choose from an existing scannee that you have in your list or an existing guest. That could be someone that you scanned last month or, a few weeks ago or just barely, or you can add a new one. Okay, so you have the option to add a new one, and that adds it as a saved scannee in your list. So you just enter their information in. They do need to agree to some privacy policy stuff since we are collecting information from them. If you're scanning an open scan, this won't be there because we're just scanning anonymously. Then they get to put their finger on the scanner. Okay, and in 15 seconds, they get their score. Now, once they get their score, again, they're going to have those results that they can look through to see what their score means, but they can also fill in their own PRYSM profile at this point. Okay, why is this important? For a few reasons. One, the AI is going to take that into account as it gives product recommendations. Two, it might be informative for you to walk them through all those questions. So now you know where the holes are and where they're missing. Are they getting too much sun exposure? Are they getting not enough sleep? Those kind of questions where you can now understand better with them where those holes are, where those gaps are in their life that they can fill in to really help improve their score. It also might help you as you're recommending products to them. Okay, so they can fill that out right here, or they can skip it. If you're like, let's just jump straight to a basic recommendation, you can do that. And right away, they can get that product recommendation, and you can actually share it straight from the app and send to them either through text, email, whatever, however you want to send it to them. It'll just bring up a share sheet and you can send it right to them. Okay, moving on to the next section is the custom recommendation. And this, again, I think this is where things get really cool, where you can now, as the leader, go through and select products on your own, like saying, hey, these are the products I recommend based on what I'm seeing in your profile. And I'm going to quick share that with you right now. And that is kind of the journey for the scanning. So when you're scanning your customers, scanning your guests, scanning your friends, that's kind of the journey. And it's really to go from what's your score? What does it mean? How do I improve it? Let me share that with you right now. Let's get you signed up. Okay. And we're going to continue to improve this journey as we continue to learn from you guys, as we continue to ask questions, and as we find the gaps that we're having here. This initial release, again, is just the tip of the iceberg of what we can do with this. And so we're really excited to partner with you guys to kind of help build this out to an even better experience. The Learn tab is the next tab to the right of the scan. And this is really just more information, right? Again, like we talked about, taking the data and trying to distill it into information that we can now take and educate our customers, our guests, anyone that we're working with, or ourselves, right? And so you can see there's different factors that kind of play into your score, and you can actually go through and kind of view a lot of this information. What's really cool is we're going to start building in a lot of data, especially as people are filling out these PRYSM profiles. It's really, that's another important reason to have it, is now you can start to see a lot of this demographic information popping up with scores, right? If you were to look at, say, servings of fruits and vegetables, or let's actually go to supplementation, right? If you're taking LifePak twice a day, this is kind of what the demographic curve looks like for the globe. People that are never taking it, you can already see right away. This is based on the last 20 years of data that we've been able to gather from the scanner. The people that never take LifePak are going to be on the low end, right? People that take it one time a day are going to be, a little higher, and then 2 times is where you're going to get your normal curve. So we are actually restoring balance as people start to take LifePak, right? We're going from this skewed graph to a normal curve, which is really powerful as well. So the data can be powerful if we tell and we educate and we help people understand why this matters, right? And why people are missing out, when we can just see right away people that aren't taking LifePak are already on the low end, right? They're already skewed to the left. People aren't getting what they need just from a regular, diet. So that's how data can be powerful. History. This is where, again, we can follow up with people. We can track them. We can actually go in and say, hey, who did I scan last week? How are my scans doing? And if I want to look at someone's particular score, I can click into it and see those results again, exact same results that we saw before. I can review their recommendation and then look at their history as well. Unassigned scans, we talked about that briefly. This is if, like, maybe you're scanning people not connected to the app, you're just scanning them on the device, which can scan by itself. And so or you're scanning and you don't want to get their information or collect it. And so now they're just going into this unassigned scan pool. But say after you scan them, they're like, hey, I want more information. I need some of that LifePak. And so you can actually go into your unassigned scans and you can assign that scan to them and go ahead and assign it. If you already have them in there, you can assign it to them or add a new person and assign it that way. And so we want to make it very versatile, very flexible for you guys as you're dealing with so many different situations in different scenarios. You might be scanning at an expo where there's a line of people and you just want to quickly scan them and find out who's interested. Or you might be in a doctor's office where you want to collect that information up front and go ahead and just start the prospecting process. So this is the core features that we're going to be releasing initially. Okay. But like I said, there's so much more that I wish I could unveil. I wish I could pull back the curtain and say, look at what we're going to be doing with AI in the future. Look at what we're going to be doing with data and analytics to help people, again, better understand more and more about their scores. And this is, again, the power that we have. And we have potential. All the issues we had with the previous scanners, the lease payments, the accessibility in some markets, and all these other things, we're going to be removing all those and just unleashing this to the point where the potential is unlimited for all of you. Like, whatever you want to do with this, the sky's the limit. We can go as far as we want. We can sell as many of these as we can, get them into every household where people are now aware and understanding and making wise choices. And one thing we want to really help people understand is the importance of staying on subscription, right? This is really to help people drive to subscription. This isn't something where you can take one LifePak and the next day see an increase in your score. They need to be on that product for 30, 60, 90 days to really see the score improve their lives. And as the longer they're on it, the more they're going to see those kind of benefits in their lives in the long run. right? Talk about quality of life down the road when you're older. It starts now. We have to start now to start making those changes, right? And to redirect the direction our wellness is on, I guess, just lack of a better term. But yeah, that's the app in a nutshell.